All right, let's go to Paul Lane is on line number 5, and of course Paul is the Liberal MHA for St. John South. Good afternoon, sir.
That would be Mount Pearl South, and great, Pete.
Oh, Mount Pearl South. Again, not my fault. I'm reading up the screen. I should be using my common sense.
There you go. Anyways, Pete, I just wanted to talk to you this afternoon about an issue which has been recently brought to my attention. As a matter of fact, I had a meeting with some cabin owners from Ocean Pond this morning, and they have brought some legitimate concerns to my attention, and namely as it relates to a proposed development, which is going to be potentially going in to that area. And, up in the Ocean Pond area, there's been no development up there for the last approximately 30 years. The land has been frozen. All the Crown land has been frozen. And as a matter of fact, I'm told that there's been like a number of cabin owners up there over the last number of years who, have even applied to perhaps extend their property a little, maybe add a piece onto their property and so on. And a number of them were turned down. And they were told that, basically that, there was a freeze in development, that the land was environmentally saturated, is what they were told. Now they find out, as they go into their cabins over the last number, of weeks and months, that they see an extension of the road. And there's about 2.5 kilometers of road which has been constructed, full road going on in through, into the back.
Obviously built on environmentally unsaturated land.
Yeah, supposedly, and that's a good question, and they have many questions. But
it's only saturated depending on who's asking.
Well, that's what it seems. That's I guess how they feel.
Yeah.
And there's about 2.5 kilometer road gone in there, and now they have been, advised that there's a developer in there now who is looking at putting, I believe, is 110 cottage lots, and I use the term cottage lightly. I think some of them are going to be potentially quite large. And while nobody's against development, it's interesting that that you've had a freeze for all these years. All of a sudden, this is happening unannounced. They find out about it when they see the road going through. Now they've been sent a notice that there's an environmental assessment which will take place, and if they have any concerns, they've been given an address or whatever that they can address their letter, about what concerns they might have with the environment. They were never notified to begin with that it was even, going to be put in place, which is a big problem. I mean, you've had people up there for years and years, and all of a sudden, rather than come to people and say, look, this is a proposal, what do you think?
Yeah.
They go ahead, they do it anyway, and then, of course, it almost seems like a farce to have this environmental assessment, given the fact that we got 2.5 kilometers of a fully developed road and branch roads and everything already in there. So it's almost like it's a
determination
going to happen anyway.
A determination made years ago that it's already saturated, or they don't want any more going in there. Pray tell, does anyone know who the developer is?
They do, but or they believe they do, but I mean, I'm not going to put out. I'm not going to start putting out names of individuals at this point in time. But I guess the issue is, Pete, is that there was never any proper consultation, and I think that there should have been and there should be before we go any further. They do have a number of concerns, and so I would call upon our new Minister of Environment, who's also responsible, coincidentally, for Crown lands as well, and that's Minister Granter, to call a public meeting for all the residents in the Ocean Pond area, and to provide them with the information they require, to give them an opportunity to ask questions, and not just ask questions, because it's interesting that I've been told that there's been a number of contacts made by residents or by cabin owners who are currently there. They've been into Crown lands and contacted the environment as well, and ministers and MHAs, and all they're getting is they said it's just like question period. You're asking questions, but you're not getting any answers. And so we really need to have this forum, this opportunity for people in the area to actually get their questions answered, to raise their concerns and so on before we proceed any further with this particular development.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if it's done properly, if there's no environmental concerns, if everything is above board, well, then I guess that's it. But let's have the opportunity to be open and transparent and find out before we proceed any further.
Well, yeah, but still, I mean, if at the end of the day, if they do have consultations that mean anything, and people can have their say and determine whether or not it's a good idea for all concerned. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, what they're going to say, I guarantee you, and good luck getting anything changed on it or even getting a meeting. But I'd be surprised and delighted if that happens. But, I mean, they're going to say, first of all, well, the road's in now. So, I mean, you know, now that the road's in, there's not a whole lot of difference between putting the road in and then putting all these 110 lots and some of them large ones around there. And all these years, people perhaps have been denied for, you know, a 10-foot extension so they can get their trailer fit properly on the land. And now, all of a sudden, after no, all these years, somebody's allowed to go in and do this huge development. It seems to be the way it's always done, and often you see it at particular times when somebody is perhaps on the way out of office and they see an opportunity to do someone, I'm not saying this is what's happening, but to do someone a favor or to make sure it gets done under the wire, et cetera, et cetera. I can't stand when I hear this kind of thing.
No, it is disturbing, and I've heard a number of they threw out a few names actually that they were quite interesting, and I'm not going to throw them out at this point in time, but it is very interesting perhaps when you look at different people who may have been involved in different ways and so on, and what connections they could have. But, you know, and I agree with you, Pete, you know, but especially given the fact that, you know, there's lots of people who want to develop cottage lots, like, you know, just one cottage lot for themselves, and they want crown land, and you've got to go through a system where they have a draw and so on, you know, where you have an opportunity to get one piece of land to build your own cabin or your own cottage. And now in this particular case, you know, we hear about 110 cottages. You know, basically we're building a miniature subdivision in the middle of the wilderness.
Yeah. And no competition even perhaps on that either. Somebody came in with a proposal, and they're going to be able to go ahead. And there's no indication that there was ever an opportunity for anybody else to bid or for people to look at getting their own lots and doing it themselves. Anyway, listen, it's going to perhaps develop or evolve into a much larger conversation, but I certainly would be interested to know if Mr. Granter, grants that meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. And Pete, just to finish, like one of the things that maybe said is that there is some of the land that's in there was private land, but there was a whole process that's gone on over the last number of years, and it's even, I guess, questionable as to who owned what land and if it should have been reverted to the Crown and so on. But now it seems like there was even additional lands and different pieces of land that had nothing to do with this contested land, which is actually Crown land, which has sort of been added to the pie in a very lucrative place, actually, like a little peninsula that juts right out into the lake. Beautiful spot that was definitely Crown land. Not to mention all the access going in there is Crown land. So, yeah, there's a lot of, it's very convoluted, and there's a lot of questions. There seems to be more questions than answers, and I really believe that, the right thing to do would be for the minister to have a public consultation and actually answer the questions and make sure that everything is done properly and above board.
As they say, oftentimes all land belongs to the bank of you scratch my back. Anyway, listen, I appreciate the call, Paul. We'll see if anybody else has anything to say about it today.
Okay, Pete. Nice talking to you. Have a good afternoon.
You too. All the best.
Okay, bye.